Hi, everybody. He said art making is a gift that is within every human being. We are all artists, and we, many of us have grown up with a critical voice, and that holds us back. We hold ourselves back because we compare ourselves to others, or we have not had 2 years of learning to draw, and that we don't hit our journal looking good, or we've never actually mixed paints before, and we're beginning, but we have that creative urge inside. We know we can do it. And this is the beginning of your artist journey. And I have been doing podcasts since 2016. I have over 10,000 downloads, and I don't advertise it. I rarely post them, but I did it because I felt the world needed positive encouragement, self-empowerment, which I, of course, have been teaching since the 90s. And I want to encourage you to pursue your artistic dreams. And I know because when I grew up, we weren't wealthy, but we didn't lack. But I had my mom and my father really encouraged the arts. And there was no, you can only do this, you can't do this. Nobody told me that you couldn't do something until I actually got into school. And I remember I drew a purple tree. And the teacher said, there are no purple trees. Well, I beg to differ. We lived in Santa Barbara, and jacarandas are purple trees. They're purple flowered trees all over. So we all have these voices. Somebody somewhere said something that we let in, and we believed it, or we got tentative, or we withdrew, or we started to hide, or whatever the deal. And in my podcasts, what I have learned is, and I've been saying this since 2016 in the podcasts, you have to live in the not knowing, because the not knowing is the imaginal realm. The not knowing is where you do not have control of the next step. The not knowing is trust in the other world to lead you. And if you don't believe in the other world, you can believe in intuition, your intuitive will to lead you to the next thing, the next brushstroke, the next color. I've done so many podcasts on living in the not knowing, because the not knowing is the creative or creativity space itself. And I've also done a podcast on Meister Eckhart, who did 4 ways of seeing, where he said that God is constantly manifesting being, the being of the world, the being of your paints, the being of your persona, the being of our body, the being of the desk I'm sitting on, the being of my blue snowball audio. So the manifest world is being manifested constantly, and we see that same story in the story of the Hindu, the Upanishads, that the gods are dreaming the world into being. This is the same realm artists live in. It is a non-ordinary state of being, which is what the shamanic journey is. It's beginning the practice of going over the threshold. In this case, the power animal journey is to go into the lower world and to find your power animal. So this tree behind me, which I don't know what it is, it looks like the banyan tree that Buddha got enlightened under. And you could find a tree like this when you close your eyes and you hear the rattle or the drum, or you're following the guided visualization of down, 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 down the tree. Instead of Jack and the Beanstalk who goes up the tree, you go down the tree, you find a hole, you dive in, and you start your journey. And this is the same way of starting a journey. You remember your intention. I'm calling for my power animal. I'm calling for my power animal. Is the same thing an artist does when they have a blank canvas. Let's just say canvas in front of them, or if or a charcoal drawing, or a weaving, or a quilt, or thousands of pieces of fabric and you don't know what you're going to do with, or a jewelry maker, or whatever. You have to start in the not knowing, in the unmade, in the non created, in what Michael Harner called the non ordinary reality, right? It's the most wonderful, free space because you can do anything. So, one of the things I always told my students since the beginning of time, it feels like, is there is no right way. There's bazillion choices. You make one line. Oh, that line could go here, there, 400 million degrees. It could go inside, outside, to the corners, to the periphery. It could come back. It could weave in. There isn't a right way. It's just the next step. What do you feel like? What's the color? What's the feeling inside your body? What's leading you? But if you have all these constraints, it must be perfect. It must be perpendicular. It must be a certain color. It's got to have perspective. It must look realistic, very realistic. It cannot be fantasy. All that, whatever your constraints are, because we all got them. I remember one year my word of the year was experimentation. And that was it. I just cut loose. I had no holes barred. I had some Labradors. They would, sorry, but I called it balls out. They would hit the waves, balls out. And I thought, my God, what a way to go, balls out. And that's what I decided to do. And it was after a tragedy in Montecito when we had the debris flow, which is a flood in any other language in the world. And we lost a number of people overnight in Montecito. And that was it. I was done with the world. And I got online and I discovered online art classes. And what fabulous stuff so many artists have created for us to experiment and explore. And I didn't judge a thing I did. I, and thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, shamans. Thank you, fairies. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guiding spirits. I did not judge myself. I just created. I created. I overpainted. I think I probably did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of paintings. I just painted over. I didn't care. I just wanted to explore and experiment. And that was my year. And it led me into completely new areas in my life, completely new for the trajectory of what I taught. It was wonderful. And I had already had a master's degree. I didn't need anything else, but I was so hurt with what had happened out of nowhere that I wanted to do something different and bring something different into my art. So I want to tell you that the not knowing is the imaginal realm. It's the realm that Carl Jung talks about. It's the realm that Robert Johnson talks about. It's the realm that every artist talks about, even if they don't even know what it means, they're talking about it. I have a very deep esoteric definition of that, but I don't want to go into it here. I can go into that later in other classes. But for now, in the Power Animal Journey, you are learning to journey, which is travel outside of time, outside of ordinary reality into non ordinary reality. That is the same thing that artists do. When they put a piece of paper down, they get a pencil or they get a paintbrush and they say, what now? And Rudolf Steiner tells the story of Marie Steiner, who was a poet and a writer, and that when she knew she was going to write write something, she would go into the room, and Steiner, who was a clairvoyant, saw all the spirits of all these departed people come in who wanted to inspire her to write something in their ilk, in their manner. And this is the same thing you can think about an artist. We sit there, we think in our studio completely alone, but who knows how many ancestors we have around us waiting to tap on our shoulder saying, hey, hey, Christina, what about this? What about this? Or, oh, do you remember when this happened? And ooh, ooh, ooh. And then you go on the journey of an artist in the creative imagination. Now, one of the things for me is I actually had most of my life, there was good art and bad art. So I had big constraints. That's gone now. Abstract art was like not real art. That's gone now. Abstract art is fabulous art. It is the realm of the imagination. You are leaving the figure, and I'm a figurative artist. I love the human being. I love humanity. I love fingers, toes, cheeks, and side views and heads. I love portraits. But when I let that go and just did abstract art, right? Now you have to admit I'm a trained artist and I'm in my years, so I'm very well trained. And I can't let that go because I do love proportion. I do love color harmony. I do love beauty. And I do have an advanced understanding of that in my own art. So that will come out. I can't help it. I'm in my years, and so are many of you women, and you're going to bring your capacities to your art, whatever art you choose to explore, expand, and experiment with. But I want to actually give a plug for what not knowing means. Because not knowing doesn't mean I don't know what to do. I'm just pointless and not knowing in a shamanic way or in a intuitive art way is God, I'm just at the place I need to be. I really have no momentum forward. The whole world is available to me right now. Where do I feel I want to go? What color is calling me now? What line? Is it a big, thick oil pastel that's like this big around and I'm going to draw with my non dominant hand? Am I feeling light and airy and wonderful? And that's what I want to pursue. Am I feeling discouraged and heavy and down and grudgy? And that's what I want to do. And then I'm going to burn it afterwards. I mean, we have the world of making. We have the world of making. We're makers, we're creators, we're creatrixes, we're inventors, we're explorers, we're voyagers into the world of the creative arts and all the fields of the arts. I don't have to remind you of writers where their characters take a life of their own. They're on their own journey and they're trying to tug them back. Well, the same thing happens when you have a guiding spirit that comes into your not knowing and things start to emerge. And you're afraid that you're going to blow it because it's so beautiful what's happening. And that is the intuitive will when you are tracking. It's very difficult here because most people don't understand what I'm talking about, but this is tracking the will. And the will is coming over from the other side of the threshold. It's non ordinary reality, it's the imaginal realm. It's not, well, I've made this line and now I've got to make this line because then it would be a correct drawing. Okay, so that's not knowing. That's knowing what you want to do or what you don't want to do. Living in the not knowing is it is the space where we lived as children when we'd have a playmate and we'd say, let's pretend. That's the first sentence. We always said, let's pretend I'm a pirate and you're a thing and da 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 da, and we're going to do this. No, no, I don't want, let's pretend. And we remember when we do plays, and I mean, that's let's pretend. So you could say the imaginal realm is let's pretend I'm an artist. Let's pretend I can trust what lives in my heart to put on the canvas. Let's pretend I'm going to do a portrait that's going to talk to me over the next 20 years because that portrait has something in it that's more than I can grasp now because I'm going to bring that from the imaginal realm into a picture. That is not knowing. That's living in the not knowing. Now, of course, we ground, then we come back into our body and we got to go do our projects and we got to pay our bills and we got to do this and we got to make beans and whatever. But when you are in the not knowing of the artist, it is the most wonderful space to be. And I know you know it. I know you all know it because it's called it's called millions of things. It's like surfing in the curve of the wave, right? It's like riding, catching the wave at the ocean and riding it to the shore. It is that feeling that you are in the right place at the right time and whatever you do is okay. It's really living in the now experience, which, living in the now is this big deal that most people don't actually know what it means, but it means living in the imaginal realm and tracking your own intuitive will. What is living in you will tell you the next step. This is living in the imagination. This is where shamans have lived from time immemorial. This is where the little girl lives who one of my students could see the sunbeams would come in on her bed, see the sunbeams coming through the tree. The sunbeams would hit her bed, and she could actually see the sun fairies. Very, very diminutive, soft, shimmery, barely there angels. And when she told her mother said, "That's not real. You're imagining it." And she didn't see him again for years and years and years until she took my class and she started journeying. And guess what came for her was the sun fairies, right? So it makes me want to cry because we all have had those experiences as artists that we've been shut down because we believe somebody else. So we just gave our power away to somebody else, believed them, and got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Sometimes we just disappear altogether. That's called depression and implosion, and you're somewhere else in some other reality. Or you might be doing a whole lot of really negative habitual patterns, which we call addictions. And the best thing out of that state of mind is doing art, making something, creating a space, changing your life. It's called metanoia. Change the heart and mind, metanoia. So I hope that gives you some inspiration for your own art and what not knowing, living in the not knowing when you're making art, because it is a practice. You learn, just like a shaman learns, to enter a non-ordinary reality from ordinary reality. And Michael was very stern about this, that you do not cross the line and sort of live in fantasy all the time. You start the journey and you end the journey. And that's why you have the callback and you come back into your body and you make sure you're in. The same thing with art making. We set up our space. We said, now's the time to create. Now we let all this go. We let all that go. We let all that go. What's my word for the day? How do I feel today? What wants to come through? What's living in me? What color is it? Let's go. Boof. So that training of living in the not knowing as an artist never ends. It's a never ending story, a joyful exploration of exploring your inner and outer imaginal realms in weaving, in felting, in jewelry making, in making art, in creating spaces, in redesigning your kitchen, in bringing things seeing where harmony and where harmony isn't working and changing. We're creators, we're creatrixes. And I want to do a call out now to women who have maybe had children, their kids are gone, and they don't know what they're going to do next. Start making art. Any kind of art. Get a project and start and join with others. And I'm going to open a membership soon and you can join me. But this is just a little talk about what it means to live in these imaginal realms and have a sacred practice of dreaming, of shamanic journeying, of artistic work, of working over the threshold. What do I want? What is it? What can I track that will bring me help right now? What color is it? What's the form? Is it big and immense? Is it tiny and diminutive? Is it shy and sweet? Is it bold and powerful? Is it something I need to bring me peace because the world is too much? All that you can do with your art. So let's do it. Thanks. Sign up for the freebie, the power animal retrieval, and make art. Draw or paint your power animal, and we'll journal, of course, at christinawestart.com/power animal. It's a freebie. Sign up. Sayonara.